The Last Defender. The UNSC Invictus drifted silently through the debris field, its massive silhouette barely distinguishable against the backdrop of twisted metal and shattered spacecraft. What was once the pride of Earth's orbital defense platform was now a graveyard, a grim monument to humanity's last stand. Captain Ilara Chen stood on the bridge, her weathered face illuminated by the soft blue glow of tactical displays. 30 years of military service had prepared her for many things, but not for being the commander of humanity's last functioning battleship. "Status report," she ordered, her voice steady despite the weight of responsibility pressing down on her shoulders. Commander Riza Karim, her executive officer, looked up from his console. "All systems operational, Captain. Stealth systems holding. We're detecting no pursuit signatures within sensor range. And our payload. Dr. Nakamura confirms the Prometheus device is stable. Power output remains consistent." Chen nodded, allowing herself a moment of grim satisfaction. The Prometheus was humanity's final gambit, a weapon born from desperation and the collective genius of Earth's brightest minds. A weapon that, if their intelligence was correct, could change everything. "Navigator, plot a course to the Arcturus waypoint. We need to rendezvous with the Resistance Network." Lieutenant Sophia Torres, the ship's navigator, input the coordinates with practiced efficiency. "Course plotted, Captain. Estimated arrival in 72 hours at current speed." The Invictus was more than just a battleship. At 1,800 meters long, it represented the pinnacle of human military engineering, incorporating technologies that were merely theoretical before the war began. The Centaurian Alliance's systematic destruction of human colonies had forced innovation at an unprecedented pace. In the 3 years since first contact, the 7-species coalition known as the Centaurian Alliance had methodically eradicated human presence across the galaxy. Their stated reason was simple and terrifying: preemptive containment of an evolutionary anomaly. They feared humanity's adaptability, our unpredictability. So they chose extermination. Earth had fallen 6 months ago. The remaining human colonies were either destroyed or in hiding. The Invictus carried not just a crew of 4,000, but the hopes of a species on the brink of extinction. "Captain, we're picking up a transmission," announced communications specialist Jackson Lee. "It's on the old resistance frequency." "Put it through," Chen ordered, straightening her uniform. The main view screen flickered before displaying the face of Admiral Konstantin Volkov, one of the few high-ranking officers to survive the fall of Earth. His image was grainy, distorted by distance and encryption protocols. "Captain Chen, good to see the Invictus survived." His Russian accent was thick with fatigue. "We were beginning to lose hope." "We've been lying low, Admiral, gathering intelligence and preparing." Chen gestured to the tactical officer. "Show him what we found." Lieutenant Commander Darius Wade activated a secure data stream. "Admiral, 3 weeks ago, we intercepted Centaurian communications that revealed something unprecedented. Their main battle fleet has a critical vulnerability." Volkov leaned closer to his screen. "What kind of vulnerability?" "Their quantum communication network," explained Wade. "The entire Alliance fleet uses a synchronized quantum entanglement system for instant communication across vast distances. It's their greatest strategic advantage, allowing their ships to coordinate perfectly. But we've identified the central hub, a space station in the Proxima Centauri system. And you believe targeting this hub would disrupt their communications?" Chen stepped forward. "Not just disrupt, Admiral. According to our simulations, a properly calibrated energy pulse from the Prometheus device would create a cascading quantum destabilization effect. Every ship connected to the network would experience critical system failures." Volkov's eyes widened with understanding. "You're talking about crippling their entire fleet with a single strike." "Exactly. But we need to get close enough to deploy the device. That's why we're headed to Arcturus, to rendezvous with the Resistance and gather whatever intelligence they have on Centaurian defense patterns." The Admiral was silent for a long moment. It's risky, Chen. The Invictus is the last capital ship we have. If we fail, humanity dies anyway, Chen interrupted. But if we succeed, we give our species a fighting chance. Volkov nodded reluctantly. Proceed to Arcturus. I'll inform our operatives to expect you. Volkov out. As the transmission ended, Chen turned to her crew. The weight of the mission hung heavy in the air. I won't lie to you, she said, addressing everyone on the bridge. This mission has minimal chances of success. We're one ship against an empire. But throughout history, humanity has accomplished the impossible when our backs were against the wall. She paused, making eye contact with each officer. This is one of those moments. The journey to Arcturus was tense but uneventful. The Invictus's advanced stealth systems, a combination of light-bending metamaterials and quantum field manipulators, kept them hidden from Centaurian patrols. However, their luck couldn't last forever. Captain, sensors detecting a patrol squadron at coordinates 227 Mark 58, reported Sensor Officer Priya Sharma. 5 Centaurian corvettes, standard patrol formation. Chen frowned. Time until detection, if we maintain course. Approximately 8 minutes, Captain. Can we alter course to avoid them? Torres shook her head. Not without adding significant time to our journey. And we'd have to drop out of FTL to make the adjustment. Options? Chen asked, turning to her executive officer. Commander Karim studied the tactical display. We could power down all non-essential systems and drift past them. The debris field provides excellent cover. Too risky, Chen decided. If even one of those ships gets a clean scan, they'll alert the entire fleet. She tapped her console, bringing up the Invictus's weapon systems. No, I think it's time we showed the Alliance what one human battleship can do. Combat stations. Throughout the massive vessel, alarm klaxons sounded as crew members rushed to their battle stations. In the engine room, Chief Engineer Maya Rodriguez prepared the quantum drive for potential emergency maneuvers. In the medical bay, Dr. Heinrich Schultz and his team readied for casualties. Weapons status, Chen demanded. Lieutenant Commander Wade checked his console. All systems green, Captain. Kinetic accelerators charge. Point defense grid online. Chimera missiles armed. Chen nodded. Target the lead vessel with a single Chimera. Minimal yield. Chimera missiles were another innovation born from the war. Controlled hyperdimensional impact munitions with enhanced radiation amplification. They created localized ruptures in space-time, devastating any matter within the effect radius. Target locked, confirmed Wade. Firing solution calculated. Fire. The missile launched silently from the Invictus, its propulsion system leaving no visible trail as it accelerated toward the unsuspecting Centaurian vessel. When it detonated, there was no conventional explosion. Instead, a sphere of distorted space enveloped the alien ship. When the distortion cleared, only twisted fragments remained. The other corvettes immediately scattered, their formation breaking as they tried to identify the threat. They're powering up weapons and sending distress signals, reported Sharma. Take out their communication arrays, ordered Chen. Precise shots only. We don't need to destroy them all. The Invictus's main kinetic accelerators fired in rapid succession, each shot finding its mark with surgical precision. Within moments, all 4 remaining corvettes were crippled, drifting helplessly with their communication systems destroyed. No distress signals made it out, Captain, confirmed Li. We're clear. Chen nodded, satisfied. Resume course to Arcturus, maximum speed, and send a message to those ships, one they can receive but not respond to. What message, Captain? Asked Li. Chen's expression hardened. Tell them that humanity isn't finished. Tell them we're coming for them. As the Invictus accelerated away, leaving the disabled patrol behind, Dr. Ayako Nakamura entered the bridge. The physicist was the primary architect of the Prometheus device, a brilliant mind who had lost her family when the Centaurians bombarded Tokyo. "Captain, I've been analyzing the data from our engagement," she said, approaching Chen. "The quantum field readings from the Centaurian ships confirm our theory. Their technology relies heavily on quantum entanglement principles, far more than we initially believed." "What does that mean for our plan?" Nakamura's eyes lit up with rare enthusiasm. "It means the Prometheus will be even more effective than our simulations predicted. We won't just disrupt their communications. We could potentially disable their entire propulsion and weapon systems simultaneously." For the first time in months, Captain Chen allowed herself to feel a flicker of genuine hope. Perhaps humanity's last battleship really could change the course of this war. "We reach Arcturus in 48 hours, she said. "After that, we make our run for Proxima Centauri, the heart of the Alliance. Prepare the Prometheus, Doctor. We'll only get one shot at this." As the Invictus hurled through space toward its rendezvous, its crew worked with renewed purpose. They were more than just sailors and soldiers now. They were the last defenders of humanity, carrying with them a weapon that could turn the tide of a war that had seemed unwinnable. One human battleship against a galactic empire. Against all odds, the hunt had begun. The breaking point. The vast space station orbiting Arcturus loomed before the Invictus, its irregular shape suggesting multiple expansions over decades. What had once been a human mining outpost was now the central hub of the interstellar resistance, a coalition of survivors, refugees, and rebels from a dozen species. "Docking procedure complete, Captain," announced Lieutenant Torres as the magnetic clamps secured the battleship to the station. Captain Chen nodded. "Commander Karim, you have the bridge. I'll meet with the resistance leadership." She turned to Security Chief Marcus Okafor. "Assemble a security detail. Friendly territory or not, I want to be prepared." The space station's interior was a chaotic blend of different architectural styles, reflecting the diverse species that had found refuge there. Humans worked alongside tall, insectoid Thraxians, whose civilization had been subjugated by the Alliance decades earlier. Reptilian Sikhat merchants bartered goods in makeshift marketplaces. Amorphous Rel engineers maintained the station's critical systems. Chen was escorted to a conference room where representatives from various resistance factions waited. At the head of the table sat Volrak, a Thraxian elder whose compound eyes gleamed with intelligence. "Captain Chen," Volrak greeted, his translator converting the clicks and whistles of his native language. "Your arrival brings hope to our coalition. The Invictus is legendary, the ship that survived when Earth fell." Chen took her seat. "We haven't just survived, we've been planning. And we've discovered a weakness in the Alliance fleet that could change everything." For the next hour, Chen outlined their plan to target the quantum communication hub at Proxima Centauri. The resistance leaders listened intently, asking pointed questions about the Prometheus device and the projected effect on Alliance ships. Lorian, a Sikhat strategist with iridescent scales, leaned forward. "If this works, it would cripple approximately 70% of their battle fleet. But reaching the hub will be nearly impossible. The Proxima system is the most heavily defended location in Alliance space." "That's why we need your help," replied Chen. "We need current defense patterns, access codes, anything that can help us get close enough to deploy the Prometheus." A holographic display activated in the center of the table, showing the Proxima Centauri system in detail. Volrak manipulated the image, highlighting the orbital patterns of defense platforms and patrol routes. "Our intelligence network has been gathering this data for months," he explained. "But there's something else you should know." The hologram shifted to show a massive structure in orbit around Proxima Centauri. "This is why the Alliance has been so aggressive in eliminating potential threats." Chen studied the structure. "What am I looking at?" "The Centaurians call it the Ascension Gate," said Volrak. "It's a massive quantum tunnel designed to open a portal to another galaxy. They believe their true home lies beyond our galaxy, and they're preparing for a mass exodus." Dr. Nakamura, who had joined the meeting, gasped. "That's why they need the quantum network." It's not just for communication. It's part of the power distribution system for the gate. Lorian nodded. Precisely. The Alliance species believe they are evolutionarily superior, destined to leave our primitive galaxy behind. They've been systematically eliminating any species they consider potentially disruptive to their grand plan, and humans top that list. Chen concluded, the pieces falling into place. Our adaptability makes us unpredictable. They couldn't risk us interfering with their exodus. The revelation changed everything. Their mission wasn't just about survival anymore. It was about stopping a genocidal campaign that would continue until the Alliance deemed the galaxy secure for their departure. We need to destroy that gate, Chen declared, not just disrupt their fleet. Volrak's mandibles clicked in agreement, and the Prometheus device might be the only weapon capable of doing so. But first, you need to reach Proxima Centauri. The Resistance provided everything they had: security codes, patrol schedules, and most importantly, a Thraxian stealth field generator that could be integrated with the Invictus's existing systems to further reduce their detection signature. As they prepared to depart, Volrak approached Chen privately. Many of us have lost our homeworlds to the Alliance, Captain. Your mission carries the hopes of more than just humanity. Chen clasped the Thraxian's claw-like appendage. Then we won't fail. The journey to Proxima Centauri would take them through the heart of Alliance space. Even with their enhanced stealth capabilities, they encountered several close calls, forced to drift silently as massive Alliance dreadnoughts passed within kilometers of their position. 17 days after leaving Arcturus, the Invictus arrived at the edge of the Proxima Centauri system. The combined intelligence from the Resistance had proved invaluable, allowing them to avoid major patrol routes and defense networks. Sensors detect 37 capital ships in defensive formation around the Ascension Gate, reported Officer Sharma, plus dozens of defense platforms with overlapping fields of fire. Chen studied the tactical display. The intelligence was accurate. There's a gap in their sensor grid at these coordinates. She highlighted a narrow approach vector. It's our only chance to get close enough. Commander Karim frowned. That would put us within range of their orbital defense platforms. Even with our stealth systems, they'll detect us once we power up the Prometheus. Then we need a distraction, Chen decided. She opened a channel to engineering. Chief Rodriguez, what's the status of our Chimera missiles? Ready for deployment, Captain, came the response. All 24 armed and verified. Chen turned to Wade. Target all Chimera missiles on these coordinates. She marked several points around the perimeter of the Alliance defense formation. Time them to detonate simultaneously. That's all our missiles, Captain, Wade pointed out. We'll have nothing left for defense. We won't need them if this works. Chen's voice was firm. Execute the targeting sequence. The missiles deployed silently, each taking a different trajectory toward its assigned target. As they moved into position, the Invictus powered forward along the sensor blind spot, accelerating toward the heart of the Centaurian defense network. Prometheus device status, Chen asked. Dr. Nakamura checked her readings. Power levels optimal. The target zone is the central hub of the Ascension Gate. A direct hit will create a quantum cascade that should collapse the entire structure and feed back through their network. Chimera missiles in position, announced Wade. Awaiting detonation command. Chen took a deep breath. All hands, brace for potential counterattack. Detonate missiles now. 24 points of space-time distortion erupted simultaneously around the perimeter of the Alliance formation. The effect was immediate. Ships and defense platforms caught in the blast radius were torn apart by conflicting gravitational forces. The rest of the fleet scrambled to respond to the sudden attack, their perfect formation dissolving into chaos. They're distracted. Full power to engines, ordered Chen. Get us within deployment range of the Prometheus. The Invictus surged forward, its massive engines pushing it toward the Ascension Gate. Alliance ships began to turn, finally detecting the human battleship in their midst. Incoming fire, shouted Sharma as energy beams and projectiles began to streak toward the Invictus. Evasive maneuvers, Chen commanded. Point defense systems, maximum coverage. The battleship twisted and turned, its point defense lasers intercepting incoming ordnance, but they couldn't stop everything. Impacts rocked the ship as multiple hits found their mark. Hull breach on Deck 17, reported Karim. Damage control teams responding. Shields at 63% and falling. Distance to optimal deployment range. Chen demanded. 12,000 kilometers and closing. Torres responded. ETA 30 seconds. They're moving to surround us, warned Wade. 5 dreadnoughts changing position to cut off our escape route. Chen ignored the warning. There would be no escape, only victory or obliteration. Prepare to deploy the Prometheus on my mark. More impacts shuddered through the ship. A console exploded on the bridge, sending a crew member flying. Medical teams rushed to assist as damage reports flooded in from all decks. Shields at 41%, reported Karim. We can't take much more of this. Deployment range achieved, announced Torres. Deploy the Prometheus, ordered Chen. Full power. In the specialized bay at the heart of the Invictus, the Prometheus device activated. Unlike conventional weapons, it emitted no beam or projectile. Instead, it created a focused quantum disruption field that expanded outward toward the ascension gate. When the field made contact with the massive structure, the effect was beyond anything they had simulated. The entire gate began to shimmer, its matter destabilizing at the quantum level. Luminous energy arsed between different sections as the quantum cascade took effect. On the Alliance ships, systems began failing simultaneously. Their quantum-based technologies, from propulsion to weapons to life support, collapsed as the cascade propagated through the network that connected them. It's working, breathed Nakamura, watching her instruments in awe. The cascade is spreading through their network faster than predicted. The ascension gate collapsed in on itself, creating a brief but brilliant implosion that sent a shockwave rippling outward. Throughout the system, Alliance vessels drifted powerless, their advanced technology rendered useless by the quantum disruption. On the bridge of the Invictus, despite the damage and casualties, a moment of stunned silence gave way to realization. They had succeeded. Send a message to all frequencies, ordered Chen. To all ships and worlds under Alliance control. The Ascension Gate has been destroyed. The Alliance fleet is disabled. Their hold on your worlds is broken. As the message went out, responses began flooding in from across the galaxy. Subjugated worlds rising up, resistance cells launching coordinated attacks, Alliance outposts surrendering as their support vanished. Admiral Volkov's voice came through on a secure channel. Captain Chen, confirm status. Did you succeed? Chen looked out at the drifting, powerless Alliance fleet surrounding them. Confirmed, Admiral. The gate is destroyed, and the Alliance fleet is neutralized. The tide has turned. And the Invictus. Chen glanced around at her damaged bridge, at the crew who had risked everything on this impossible mission. Damaged but operational. Request permission to begin liberation operations in the Proxima system. Granted, Captain. And Chen, well done. Humanity just got its future back. As the Invictus moved among the disabled Alliance ships, securing surrenders and freeing enslaved workers, Captain Chen allowed herself a brief moment of reflection. One human battleship had indeed changed the course of a galactic war, not through overwhelming force, but through ingenuity, determination, and a cooperation of diverse allies united against oppression. The war wasn't over. There would be Alliance forces beyond the reach of the quantum cascade, resistance to be overcome, and a new galactic order to build. But for the first time since the fall of Earth, the future held hope instead of extinction. Humanity would survive, and together with their newfound allies, they would build something better than what had come before.